This is Timothy, and this is TA Garage. Today, I'm going to finish up, well, not necessarily today, but I'm going to get this part of the wheel lift onto the truck. And I need to do the upgrade on this. Last video, I pointed out that I'm going to go with the 5/8 bolts here, but I need to make this thicker to make up for the edge here, because there's not going to be much. And as you can tell, here is already done doing what I was saying it was going to do. And it was starting to rip that out. So, I may use this, may not. That's what I got found pretty quickly. Definitely going to be thick enough. I think I have enough of this. I can cut this in half. Set it in there. Just like that. Have to put it up on the upper end for the hose. Or could put it in there like this, but I don't think that's going to help much. I'm trying to do as less amount of cut into this because I ain't got stuff to cut that thick. If I do it here, I can make one cut. And I'd have room to weld on the bottom and top. The only thing would be nice is if that was a little bit further down there. So I could weld it here instead of try to fill it into that gap. Either way, I gotta first round down this little ears here from mushrooming out and clean up all in here so that way I can get to welding. So that's what I'm gonna get done. I got the bolts and stuff for it. So go ahead and get started on this. Alright, so I got it all, plates all welded up and drilled. This side was a little bit more of a pain in the butt to drill. But, as you guys can see in there, 5/8 bolts work. This plate was already pretty much 5/8, so it wasn't too bad. Grab these pliers here because I'm pretty sure this thing's still hot. Pull these out. They've gone a little bit shorter bolt. Oh well. Alright. So we're back. So you can tell there, a little bit more meat. Kind of a reference to this side. You can see how much is wore out. Also have the weld now. And I have enough room for that. So definitely a lot more meat, even with the bigger bolt. Put this on the inside. So definitely have about the thickness of the bolt there. So it should be pretty good. I'm going to go grab me something to drink, and I'm going to spray this with some paint while it's still hot. I will. I'll hit paint later. No, actually I'll hit the inside now. I don't want to take this part anymore. Once I put this part together, it'll be together. So yeah. I'm going to go do that, and then I'll probably clean up a little bit while it's raining. Back that truck up so that way I can hook this up. And I can figure out my lines and how everything is going to work. Because I have not put this on or mocked it up or anything with the bed on. And I'm afraid whenever you raise it up, I'm just kind of curious how high. I've done a lot of measuring, so it should set up pretty good. But I just kind of want to see it together. I've seen it with just the frame. So yeah. Alright. Had some company over and didn't really want to film. But nothing happened much. I got the pin in, mostly. Still a little bit of pain in the butt. A little tight, which is good. But a pain in the butt. Couple problems, and one's definitely a problem I gotta solve. And the other one may be a problem, but I'm not sure yet. So basically problem number one is, oh, let me get down here. Alright, so this bed has a lip on it that's like a good 2 inches, and my cylinders are hitting. And it's not in the hole yet. So I need to cut notches out of the back of the bed. That's the first thing I need to do. But everything else seems to be fitting in here and working. So yeah, it's about 1 inch, so I definitely know I have there, but I think when I raise this thing up, it's going to lever out more. I'm hoping that's going to be good enough. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. I definitely don't want a notch on this side of the bed. I'd rather it kind of be a little bit more hidden, if I could. I prefer the cylinders to be more biased, straight up and down. That puts more down weight instead of prying weight on that pin. So yeah, try to cut those holes out real quick. A little bit. I don't think I'll film that because it's kind of in a bad spot. And yeah, you guys won't be able to really see much of that. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get that done and I'll be back. Alright. Here's where we're at. I got the back pieces cut. I got plenty of room there now. I got finger room all the way around, and they don't wiggle a whole lot, so we're good there. And get you guys to see. So I got plenty of room. The cylinders are actually bolted in. I got the jack holding it up. The next problem, and I'm not sure if it's really a problem, it just kind of bugs me. And, well, those cylinders are a little bit too long. I guess this frame's taller. I'm not sure. I don't even know what it looked like on the other truck, honestly. But this is like all the way up that I can get it to go. This is maxed out. Raise the jack anymore, it starts raising the truck up. The cylinders are bottomed out. Way to fix that is, one, raise the mounts up in here, which a lot of work not doing, and it'd weaken the structural. I don't see that as something I want to do. And or smaller cylinders, they're expensive. Don't really want to do that either. And it may be fine because this is a wheel lift, so you're not pulling the suspension off. You're not pulling it up from the suspension, so you don't have to worry about the suspension sagging down. Got that one in backwards. I just kind of experimented where to travel with these at. I was either going to travel them like that or not even on. But it would set up like that. But back to where we were going with the lift. So I don't really want to do that. So basically the two options I got down to was, one, leave it like it is, and it'll be fine. Just be real careful on uphill stuff and all that. Two, I got this chunk of steel left over from the bed, I think. It's not very thick. but it's 1/8 inch thick, so it'd probably be strong enough. It's not 3/16 like that, but it is boxed in, and I could probably box it and beef it up a little bit more. But the way I'm thinking is like this. So my thinking is, if I were to cut this off, these little straps off that hold this up, cut it off from this beam, and put this, which is the same width, so it won't go in, and weld it up on top and box it up real good where it's nice and sturdy. The cylinders will stay where they're at, but this would get raised up this amount, which would mean this would be here, which is not butted against the bed, but I'm not worried about that. But, and I may do something else by disconnecting these cylinders so that we can lay them forward and jack it up, measure from here to here, and measure to do that. That way I ain't got to cut this off yet and see how that looks. And I may do that real quick. Just thought about that. But I'm thinking about doing that, because I don't know if that's going to be quite high enough for what I want. I would like to be able to pull a small trailer or something light, maybe a small car or something on a trailer, but then again, I do have the dollies, so yeah, I don't have to have a trailer, but I would like to keep the ball and be able to move a trailer or use one if I needed to. But we don't even have a trailer, a bumper hitch trailer, so I got that. I do know a gooseneck, if I take these arms off, or maybe flip them this way, which I can tie a chain from there and go to there and lock them in. That way it doesn't swivel and turn. Maybe put some binders on it to really kind of tighten it. Not the screw type binders, not the tension binders. I don't really care much for those. I'd rather have the screw to keep it pulled tight. And that'll keep this from swiveling with a trailer on it. Also would probably put angle iron pieces going from here down as side braces, just to kind of get that load off that pin, because those cylinders aren't doing much as far as a side-to-side load. They'd be putting it all on the pin. But I want to wait for that. If I did put those beams there, I would want to put a secondary hole, like one that goes up all the way, where it's up on top of that, to where I can pin it. That way it's not relying on the hydraulics, and I can drive around. And I'd also put one about level with the truck, maybe a little bit higher, for like a bumper pull trailer. So that way that ball kind of sits level with the truck. That'd be kind of nice. And that would be about, it'd be a foot behind of the, what an actual truck would be. But I'm just kind of sitting here pondering on it and figuring out. I'm probably going to disconnect those cylinders real quick and push it forward and measure and see how much I like that. But there's also something to consider here, which wants me to make it go up higher. The downside of putting that block underneath, I'm sure it would be sturdy enough to handle it. But that's my lowest ground clearance problem if I were to have it all the way up. So that would be the low point. But technically that's not going to get any lower than it is now. So I'm not losing, not gaining, but I am gaining height of the boom. So I won't be losing really anything. And the cylinders are long enough, I could definitely go down and it would go down all the way. So I would have the extra cylinder length to go down further. I'd just be losing ground clearance, but with a wheel lift, you're kind of losing that to begin with. And this truck does sit up. But with the extra height, in case I were to pick up something heavy, and this does put a leveraged rear weight to the truck, even with it being a 1.25 ton, it's still going to put a lot of weight and leverage it out, especially if I have that boom out pulling the car backwards or something. You know, you're fighting leverage, which I did beef up the frame, and then the bed's, so I'm not worried about the frame because the bed's really sturdy and it's helping, and I tied that sucker down. And those bolts go through the bed, the frame, and the wheel lift, so they should be fine. But that's tied to the frame, not the wheels, so it will squat. I will lose my max height. And it does have overloads, and it's not sitting on it yet, if you guys can barely see it. But that's another thing I really think I need to do this with, because that's, if it was loaded, that'd be okay height. With it not loaded and you don't have that weight on it, I could always move it down, and I can always pin it, and I can always use that eyelet, which is a 1/2-inch cable, to help that if I needed to, or that cable. So I'm not worried about the strength on that. So that may be something I need to do, which could be a pain in the butt, but I think I can weld it and my welder be able to do it. Mainly, that's going to be fighting its own strength, so it should be fine. Like that, it's not going to be pulling apart, it'll be pulling with it. The welds are just holding it in place. It's not super strength of a weld having to pull it. It's not like that bracket up on top here. It won't be pulling off the welds. You'll actually be lifting up on the beam, and the metal itself will be doing kind of the same concept I had on the frame on this. It kind of helped. Everything was locked together, and the metal itself was helping it and doing most of the load. The welds was just kind of keeping everything together. The metal was kind of interlocking with everything and holding it. So yeah, that may be a thing I need to do. And I'll beef up that little box and then plate the sides and plate the bottom of that a little bit or something, just to kind of help. I know this side was bent. I'm sure it bottomed out and grabbed something. I may build like a little skid plate on that, so that way it doesn't just catch and rip. It'll kind of push and bump off of it. That could be something that would help that. And it would help strengthen it. So, yeah. Go from there and see what happens. Do a little bit of pondering on it and move those hydraulic cylinders. So yeah, see where I get with when I get back to you. Alright. Maybe you guys can hear me. My mic that I had broke, and I can't figure it out. So I got the cylinders off and loose. I got the same height as it was with that block under from there to there, which is 1.5 inches. But that's where this beam would sit. That's where that would sit. That would still hang down to where it was, but that block would be underneath there. That's the one downside to that. But that would be the height of where this would sit. And I'm gonna flip this other piece around real quick. Just kind of get more of a visual here. Which, yes, way too tall for a car. But it is also going to sink down a little bit once you put the weight on it. And it's not like you have to lift it up all the way. But I would have that extra ground clearance back here. And while driving, this would be more safer because you would have it more in the air. It's just, that's going to be about where it's going to be at anyways. And I really can't do much with the hydraulics where it's at. So, I'm thinking that I'll end up having to do that. So I may hook this up to the winch and then keep that up in the air and cut the bottoms off of that. I may end up doing that real quick. Also need to figure out my hoses and stuff, so I'll be doing that off camera.
I may actually have to, I don't know, I may kind of cheat at it and just cut part of the bracket and do it that way. So yeah, kind of thinking on what I want to do here. But yeah, get back to you guys on that. So I got that piece cut off, and I got this cleaned up. You can tell where this has bottomed out before, and it's kind of bent. I did bend it back once. Kind of like the idea of that bent, because that would be good for like a skid plate type thing to build underneath. So you can still see my notches, because that was easier than trying to cut the welds out from underneath. Alright, if I put this seam on the bottom side, and if I measure these and get them about right, somewhere along in there, I'll measure from here and here over best I can. It's not a straight piece of metal, but it'll work. I can weld that up once I get it marked up and figured out where it needs to go. I need to rotate this thing over, pull those out, flip it over. And I can do a little bit of grinding on the bottom of that to get the weld smooth. And I'm debating on moving this back an inch. I don't want to move it back a little bit, but if I move it back an inch, I think it will help kind of keep it tucked away from the bed just a hair bit more. I mean, just a little bit. Because I think once it raises up all the way and it swings in more, it kind of throws it off a little bit more. So I'm thinking it would be better if I moved it back an inch. Which ain't a whole lot, but I think it'll work pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get that piece marked up and welded tonight. And get that done. I may weld the bottom piece under it to get the kind of like a little skid plate underneath. Mainly in the middle. I'm not worried about the edges. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Alright, so I got that welded up. I even added these plates to it to help with the bracing and stuff for, in case it didn't try to collapse or bend and hit. It's easy. They're perfect size, so I put those plates on it. I didn't weld the top because I'm going to do that whenever it's on. And welded the bottom. This bottom beam was bent. I tried to beat it back in place, but it would not go. So I just have to deal with that. I don't think it's going to really hurt it too much. If I do catch it on something, it's going to bend it one way or another. Here's where I cut it off. I think I'm going to move it back an inch, about where my finger is, and weld it there. It's basically on the other side of this weld. Just to, I think it would help a little bit. It might not, but it needed to be pretty good anyways. I want to say with me even moving it back, I think I would gain height out of that. I'd gain a little bit, so that wouldn't be too bad. I got it enough anyways, but it should be plenty to go down and not max out. I think the cylinders are like a 10-inch. So even with me kicking it back, it would also help it go down further if I needed to. But mainly I just want to kind of get it a little bit away from the bed, and it would kind of help even it out. That way that cylinder's kind of in the middle of the articulation. Till they drug it on the ground a little bit lopsided too. May try to figure out how to patch that. And may look more into that pin. Looks like a hex. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it night for tonight and get back on it tomorrow maybe. Alright, well, back on this wheel lift that I'm trying to build for this thing. It's been a day or two. Got this bracket welded. I forgot to film, but I can film the other side. Not looking too bad on the welds. Getting a little bit better. It's got 3 layers. Got the first one and 2 caps. I don't know proper. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. And got that done. On this side, I think that'd be good enough. Go ahead and do this side. There's the first one way back in there, and then I'll do the bottom and then the top. And that should be it. I think I'll move this in total an inch toward the pin. That way I can put my beams that'll bolt up. Kind of got, I guess I'll call them guides. They'll bolt up to the back of the bed. Maybe weld, not for sure yet. I won't know that until this is on again and I can measure it and make it look nice. But yeah, go ahead and finish this side up real quick, and then I'll have to flip it over and do the underneath of here. Basically one of them, gonna regret if I have to take it back off. So I'm just not gonna take it back off. Still got a little bit of patching, but I'm not worried about that right now. But yeah. I got that welded up last night. Maybe you guys can see it with my crappy phone. I took this piece off because this piece is, well, not good. Had this piece laying around. I'm pretty sure this was actually from this at one point, like the upper braces or something. But it just so happens to be the right size and the right length for this. But as you guys can tell, somebody kind of grinded that down and down the road or something. Then I cleaned it up, pulled this off, and we'll weld that off and build this side up. This side piece is going to be a little bit interesting. Mainly so I got full strength in here. And that way it kind of looks nicer too. But mainly for that structural. My phone's a little bit lighter, so I kind of fling it around a little bit too much. Friend had something come up, so he wasn't able to do the bumper. So that's still sitting back there, but I plan on putting it on. I have the hydraulic stuff pretty well planned out, but I need to make sure on sizes and stuff and make sure everything good to go on that. So I plan on finish welding that up and flipping this around and doing that. Should be pretty well beefed up enough. Doesn't look the greatest, but should be stronger than what it was. So there's something. I got some pieces here cut out
for the wheel lift for having the other fork. Kind of give you an idea. Be about a foot apart. Gonna try to copy that one. I'll have to put the holes on the side of this. What is that? A 1/4 inch angle iron. I'm either gonna put a wheel at the back of this, or I may cut this and put like a skid, and also round this off so that way you don't just stab a tire. But I don't think you really have to back up to this. I think you can actually get close enough and then move that tongue out and do it from there. Also, once I get this set up, I don't have to do it now. I may try to paint this while it's on the truck. Hit with some rattle cans and kind of, I think that'd be the quickest and easiest way of doing that. May hit the cylinders with some orange. Yeah, I might paint them black. It might be fun. Oh. Yeah, we'll get to that. I know I'm going to paint these back ears probably orange. Kind of like the same idea as painting that. That way you see it and you don't blame it because you can't see it. And then you turn around after you hit your head on it, or shin, or leg, and be like, well, I guess I didn't see the bright orange thing. You know, instead of it being black. Especially at night. So, either way. You know, that way, high vis type thing. Alright, so I got this corner all fixed up. It ain't exactly perfect. Got a little bit of porosity going on there. I think that's what you call it. But it should be fine. It's about the same size, diameter and everything, which that pipe was kind of loose anyways. But it's better than that whole corner being like a 1/2 inch short. So it's actually doing something now. So I'm gonna get that bumper pulled off and back the truck up and hook this baby back up. I think I'm gonna paint it while it's in the truck. I think I can do that without messing up the truck. Especially rattle cans. It's not a big deal looking thing. Alright. So I'm gonna get that all done and I'll let y'all know when I get the truck backed up. That and a little bit cleaned off here. Be under a lot of metal shavings and grinder dust. Alright, so I got the truck backed in. I gotta get this flipped over and see if I can get this thing in there. Probably do the hydraulic cylinders after. I think that might make it easier. Yeah. Alright, well, I'm going to try to get that done. I did have to cut a little bit more of a notch because this thing was fighting me. It wasn't all the way, kicking all the way back. See that shaft right there moving with the rod. Wouldn't quite go all the way. It would hang up. There's also those 2 washers around that shaft. They'll wedge themselves and they'll lock it. So I need to build me like little metal tabs to hold those washers right there because they'll wedge themselves like that and catch it. I think they're kind of a guard to protect that seal. So I'm gonna try to keep them, I guess. I just have to put like a little metal band or something to keep it back. Build me a little metal tab or something. Won't be too bad, I don't think. May do that here in a little bit. But I'm gonna try to get this thing underneath there and get it mounted up so that way I can figure out what I need on hoses and stuff. So yeah.
kind of worked and kind of didn't work out. As far as height goes and all that, honestly good. All the way down with this all the way in, it just kind of hovers with the cylinders maxed out. So that's not bad, and the truck is pointed down just a little bit. And by the time you put those pieces on, it's going to sit down in the ground. So that should be fine. Height-wise, this is all the way up. This is more like I would like it on the truck. Not really as a pulling car ride height, but as a going down the road. It does kind of look a little bit goofy, but I think it's just kind of the way it's got to be on this. I did mess up a little bit. I did think about it, but I was kind of in a little bit of a hurry. It's better than what it would have been if I didn't. I moved this back an inch because I wanted to make sure I had room for here for a flat plate, so that way I can put side pieces here to kind of help butt up against it to help bridge this up. But it does seem pretty rigid, but it would help put a little bit less stress back here because these cylinders are not going to really do much of that. And it kind of worked, but I didn't do the math. With this being lower, it kicks out more. So it's just slightly kicking out. I don't know how long those need to be or anything yet, but I do know if we take this level, because wanting to get squared with the bed, I kind of was thinking this was going to happen, but kind of hoping it didn't. So if I put this here, I am hitting the cylinder right there. So, which of the beam, not exactly what I was wanting, but I'm going to double check this. If I let this down, it should sit back more in. Let's say if I was going to pull a trailer, probably within that range, I figure. That's pretty solid, which I don't think I'll haul a heavy duty trailer. Had to, I guess it wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world to disconnect or have a gooseneck. It's kind of another area, but maybe work. But yeah, this way it definitely will work. It should be sunk inward a little bit too. Yeah, close enough that it will work. But my problem is going to be whenever it comes up. Should've, would've, and could've. I didn't think about that part of that being longer, which is going to kick that out more here. Wasn't thinking of that. But I think I only moved it in an inch. So, plus I'm not sure how I'm going to do that part yet. I might have another idea to kind of help guide it. Maybe. Because I'm going to have to move this in one way or another. So that needs to come off. Yeah, I'll probably get butted up to here. And I might be able to put it there to where it sits kind of tightly. Maybe not this piece of metal, but like a tubing or something with an eyelet welded in it. And weld basically two of them on the back of the bed or a bolt. And that way about level height. If I wanted to run a trailer, it would help with the side load. A car shouldn't be too bad on it, but I figure about ride height, about mid height, it should be pretty good. You know, level height. So I'll think about that later. Not too worried about that right now. Just around here would be fine. If I were to use it, like on the road or something, I'd want to definitely put that. But I do have some other scenarios I could do. The other thing just for a height catch, I could catch it from that pin to there. If you can see for now. Get an eyelet and a chain or something, strap. And that could hold that up for now. Like just me driving down the road. And if I ever wanted to pull or anything, I probably need to definitely put a piece here. I'll eventually work on that, but it ain't gonna be done now. I'll have to think about it. I do have some 2x4 stubby pieces I could probably use. Weld an eyelet in it or something. Another thing I'm looking at, kind of looks like this whole thing is a little tweaked. Like it needs to go that way, but it's also, oh, kind of weird. Which this piece is wiggly. It just kind of looks like the whole thing's either shifted one way, like out to this way, not in the center, or I don't know. I didn't really do all that measuring stuff. Could be part of that, but it should work either way. But yeah, they do the hydraulics in another part. That shouldn't take too long, but it's going to take me a little bit because I have to weld and stuff onto this tank and put new inlets and outlets on it. So that's going to be intriguing. I'm figuring out lines and stuff. And then that should work. I got the valve. All that should be pretty much bolt on. I know I got to get a longer bolt for the valve. But as far as this goes, that may be it. I don't think I'm going to paint it just yet until I'm actually done with it. Maybe I can figure out the top mount, so I ain't got to worry about it now. Well, I'm going to try to get started on the hydraulics on this wheel lift for this W400. Got the tank here. I'm going to start on that at the moment. Tank is going to go into the side of the box. And this little toolbox over here. I got to put 2 holes in it. Just cheap. I think it's a 10-gallon tank. I think it's 10. You're 10 or 15. Somewhere along there. But it was the only tank that I could get that fit and was relatively available. It's just a vendor or whatever. I just got it off eBay. The spouts are on the wrong side, so I need that one off. I might be able to use that one, but I need it off and moved. And this one I need gone and patched up. And then I gotta move the 2 on this corner. So I'm gonna try to weld this up and hopefully it won't leak and do it that way. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do that either with a sawzall or cutting disc. It's gonna make a lot of chunks. Either way I go, I'll have to wash it out, I guess. Alright, well, I'll get back with you. Today, I got back from town and got a bunch of bits and pieces of hydraulics and found out how kind of expensive hydraulic stuff is. I've had some of this stuff already. Here's the valve control. Got the tank. And I got 2, and the pump. 2 3.5-inch hoses and some quarters sitting over there. So I got the pump. Pump has an in and an out. So from the tank, redoing the fittings. I got a 1-inch galvanized. It'll work. A coupling. I have that fuel hose 1-inch over there. May use it, may not. That's why I haven't got it open yet. Rubber hose of some kind, which is probably gonna be that because it has a connection on it. Run from tank to pump. Then the half get to here, run to the back of the reservoir, which is here, come in here. When it comes in, it'll come out and go back into the tank, which will be through this. I already realized I got something messed up. And into this. I wasn't even pointing. Be into this black galvanized pipe, and then this end, which I realized I messed up because I need a 90 for that. So, we'll find out something else for that. Maybe. And then we'll call that good. Then back to this. Got these quarters, which will run to, here's the 1/2-inch hoses sitting here. And then here's my 4 quarters. Those are the pressure and release, or pressure going out and pressure going in for the 2 hydraulics here, and then the one down here. Those 2 are tied together, so it just needs an in and out. Then I'm leaving these little short hoses on it, and then I got those 2 there. Hopefully I pretty much got everything except for the oil. I did not get the oil, but I need to finish on the tank and clean that out. I'm also going to hook up the back of this real quick. That way I know this is up and it is sealed, and I know I got everything for that. First I'm going to do this part, and then I'll finish with the tank. And I'll get from here back to the pump, and then we'll do the tank. So, because I may test this in a 5-gallon bucket, see how well that works. Because it just needs to flow in, and then flow out. I don't know yet. I'll probably have the tank hooked up. Tank also goes in here, in this box, and here's the fill cap for it. Don't mind the dry shaft. I had a U-joint go out, waiting for parts. So, I'm gonna try to get started on that. Well, more started. So yeah. Alright, so I don't know how well some of that recorded, but that was fun. Got all the little lines hooked up pretty well tight. I'll check for leaks and everything whenever I get it working. I got the pump on over there. Big lines ran up. Now I just gotta set up the tank. I'm going to need a 90 for 3/4. That's gonna be the one thing that gets me. I say that. The other thing's gonna get me is I need a 90 for a 1-inch. Not a coupling. I need a 90 and a 1-inch. I definitely know I don't have one of them. So, maybe another trip to town. While I wash out the tank to get all that crud out from when I grinded on it. You guys can't see it. I ain't got a light on me. Once I wash that out, well, that plug in, and I got to put 2 more plugs in the back, so I don't even need to do that yet. Alright. Go ahead and go ahead and put the plugs in the back. Once I figure out where I want to put them. Probably put the one on one end and the other on the other. I'm not sure exactly where. I may put the return in the back and then put the feed in the front. I'll have to look into it. Alright. So I got the pipes in, the hose drilled, and got them. The way I did is I used a step bit. I used like 2 of them because certain levels, it was no good. I got it to where it was tight. This one did more what I wanted it to do. I was able to get it tight, and I was able to get a pipe wrench on it and thread it in, and it just get as tight and tight and tighter until I just couldn't turn it no more. So it's probably going to seal. This one didn't want to play that way. It kept stripping the threads off the pipe whenever it'd go in. So it just got hammered in there. It's snug. I'm going to clean off this with a wire wheel and then weld them on. Clean off this little coat around it with a wire wheel. Should have done that ahead of time, but I didn't think about it. And yeah, go ahead and get that done. Phone's about to die, so I didn't film a whole lot of that. So yeah. Well, I didn't film a whole lot of that, but I got the tank, those pipes welded on in the back. I think they welded pretty good. It seemed to be a pretty good clean weld. I got the tank inside. So this is the fill. This took me a little bit of remembering because there's only one way this tank will go in and out of this door. And with the latch in the way, I had to take these off just to bolt the door down just a little bit. There's the tank, if you guys can see it. Sitting in there very happily. Got 2 bolts in the front. I'll probably put one in the back corner back here. And then this, ow. I think I'm gonna run this hose kind of up that way and around. And that should be good. And the other one, not quite sure, but I have it here that goes to the pump. I think I'm gonna run it and go back up through. Well, I need to keep it low. So I guess I'm gonna kind of run it down here, through here, the brake piece, and into that. Is my thought is. So it'd come in from there and I'll have to do a loop, and I wish I had a 90 for that, but I don't have anything for that. I might see if I can find a barbed 90. At least one, so that way I don't have to make a full curve. I can just go whoop, come back over here and then up to here. It's a pretty good hose, so it should be alright. The pump's mounted. I just need 2 90s. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that. But I need an inch 90, and that should go into that hose up there. And then I need a 3/4 90 that I'm gonna make work. So get tied into that regular pipe. Here's the fitting. Which this, with a little bit of grounding maybe on these threads. Heck, I may even. No, I don't have. What size threads that is? Is that a half? Oh. Depending on those threads, I might be able to thread that into the piece. Let's think about that. I don't think it will, though. But I'll either thread it on if I can, or I will weld it. Basically put it in there and just weld around here as much as I can without welding this up. Yeah. Call it a night. We're going to go try to get that stuff early in the morning. I may get another one of these to make that work if it would. Probably bring that with me and see if that would work. I think those threads are different. Actually, I might have some here. I may check that real quick. But one of those things are going to happen tomorrow. And hopefully we can get this thing tested. And I can get this video put out as a whole. As far as this go, I'm kind of waiting a little bit on it. But I kind of just want to see if this thing works. And go from there. Alright. See y'all tomorrow. Alright. So I got it all put together. I got the 2 ends this morning. I got them put on, the rubber hoses put on. I got it kind of tied up with electrical cord. It's all ready to go. I already put 5 gallons in it. So I'm gonna start it up, let the truck warm up for a little bit, and let this part down, and then kind of ease the hydraulics and see what happens. All right, sitting in the truck, we got the PTO pulled up, it's gonna let off the clutch, and see what happens. Well, that part should be fine. I don't see any oil leaks anywhere. Never mind. I see one right there. Alright, let me fix that. Alright, I'm back. I think I got the leak. Stop and slow down. I'll take it. I just took it off, put a bunch more of this pipe thread on it. Pipe tape. Hopefully that fixed it. Then we'll let this winch down. Off. There. Alright. Doesn't look like it's leaking. I don't see it pouring from anywhere else. So I guess what we're going to do, I think this should be up and down. And this pump doing something. Heard it pop. That way.
truck a little bit. So it loaded up pretty good. I can tell that they're seeping. Just make sure everything's good and tight. Kind of strap up the lines and everything. And that'll probably be it for this video. We'll put more oil in it. But yeah, probably tighten up that clutch a little bit. But all you gotta do is a big knife, adjust it. But yeah. Kick that off. But yeah, this is something kind of more finishing up this truck. Still got a little bit more, but that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and see y'all next time.